Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world, and welcome to another session of Living World of Darkness, New York by Night, Camarilla venue. For the second time tonight, we find ourselves once again at Cole's Cellar, which is Limey's domain, his haven in Harlem. And Rose, it's been a while since she's seen her clanmates, and she's been given the address of this club. So she's decided to pitch up and see if she can't get hold of Ghost and Limey for a catch up. And as we roll into the scene, Rose is just turning the corner to get to the bar, and she sees in red neon lighting above a relatively shady and nondescript doorway, Cole's Cellar, and she can hear smooth jazz playing, and it's muffled, but she can hear it. Outside, there's a couple of general jazz types, sort of all, trilby hats and roll neck jumpers stood outside smoking, and a relatively large and imposing bouncer on the door. And
Sorry, finish.
oh no, I was just gonna say, and here I'll hand over to Rose.
Okay. Rose, dressed up in her leather outfit and wearing the matching helmet, is walking up with her bike on her hand to the bar, and she parks the bike and does not take off the helmet, of course, for all the obvious reasons.
Um,
And
mhm.
no, go ahead.
Oh no, please, will you just walk in there?
Well, I'm planning to just walk in unless the bouncer is going to stop me.
Yeah.
You get stopped by ghosts first.
I was gonna role play this out and have you walk up in the middle of it. Is that cool?
Huh?
Oh, right, okay.
Well, it's only
So I'm coming out and she's coming in, so we might.
Well, oh no, yeah, you're gonna bump into each other, but I just thought I'd run the thing with the bouncer first because she's wearing a helmet and trying to get into a club. um, so as Rose goes to walk in, this bouncer is about I don't know, probably about 6'3", 6'4", very large, quite broad man, wearing the customary kind of all black, suit jacket, no tie, black shirt. And he's a proper meathead, really, really big guy. And he reaches a hand out, and he doesn't lay hands on you, but he just holds a hand out in front of you, and he sort of says, "Hey, I don't think you can come in dressed like that, dear. No, got to take the
Oh,
helmet in first."
this is not appropriate gear to enter a bar? I didn't know there were rules for that.
It's it's a club, ma'am, and yeah, little uncustomary to find a lady walking in. It's policy. You can't be seen to be covering your face around here.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Am I correct that this bar belongs to Mr. Limey?
He kind of sighs a little and he says, uh, that depends on who you're talking to, but yeah, you can find him here. You're looking for him, I take it."
Well, else I wouldn't be inquiring after him now, would I?
He kind of blinks a little and says, no, I guess not.
Well, would you be kind enough to tell him that I've arrived? I'm sure you have one of those pretty little headsets that you can just communicate with one of your colleagues.
He kind of purses his lips at the condescending tone, but goes to raise a hand to his ear. At which point, Ghost brushes past him and out into the night, nearly walking in to the masked figure of Rose.
She's not really paying attention. She's got her hood up and her sunglasses on, and she's on her cell phone, and she's saying, oh, "Where you at? Girl, call me back, okay?" She sounds a little bit distressed, a little bit annoyed. And as soon as she sees the helmet that she's recognised Rose wear before, she sort of abruptly hangs up the phone and puts it in her pocket. And Rose?
Good evening, Ghost. How have you been?
What are you doing?
I just wanted to visit one of my close friends. What are you doing here?
Much the same.
Only this nice gentleman over here has some issues with my attire.
He, of course, at this point, he recognizes Rose and he's been filled in as to who she is in relation to Limey's business. And he kind of turns towards Rose and he says, "What, you know this girl?"
Yeah, of course. Else I wouldn't be talking to her now, would I?
Oh, shit, sorry, I meant he turns to Ghost. He turns to Ghost and he says, "What, you know this lady?"
Yeah, she's cool.
But, so he's not going to mind if I just send her right on in, or...
Cool.
Yeah. He kind of, he has a puzzled expression. He goes to open his mouth. He looks like he's about to inquire something before he kind of just sighs and he says, "Look, head on in."
Thank you very much, good sir.
"My pleasure, lady, my pleasure." And he kind of bounces on his heels a little and crosses his arms as he stares up and down the street.
And Rose is looking at Ghost. I guess you're gonna leave?
Well, it's me.
Sorry?
Do you need to speak to me about something?
Not necessarily. I think most of what we have, I don't have any news. I met with a guy, an interesting guy, but it's nothing necessarily of your concern.
Alright, well, I'm sure he can keep you posted.
Of course.
Alright. See you around.
I will. It was nice seeing you, even though it was just short.
And Ghost starts to move off, and you can see very easily that she's moving with a fair bit of discomfort. Not her usual cocky stride.
And Rose will continue on her way in. And she starts looking around.
Okay, as Rose heads through the doorway, she walks into a dimly lit hall. Um, this isn't the actual club. She realizes this is just like a hallway, essentially. It's dimly lit with like a yellow shaded light overhead, and there's a large dark stairway going downwards. And from this stairwell, she can hear the tones of smooth jazz playing, and what I'm saying, yeah, and like the light from the staircase is like dim and red. Behind the stairway is a door that's marked private, no entry. And other than that, it's a relatively nondescript room. From what you've seen, you can assume that the club is in fact down the stairs.
Well, since it's the only way that she can go, she just moves down the stairs. She is hesitating for a moment. She thinks about where it's appropriate to knock. But as she hears music from the other side of the door, she assumes.
The music is coming from down the stairs. Sorry.
Oh, okay. In
That's
that
right.
case, well, she's gonna walk down the stairs first.
Okay. So she leaves the door marked private because it's
Hmm.
marked private. I'm not go in there. And as she heads down the narrow stairwell, the light grows dimmer and the music gets louder. And as she reaches the bottom, she's met with a pair of quite old double doors. They look vaguely kind of vintage, like glass paneled and stuff. And
Hmm.
then, as she walks through the door, she's presented with a very wide room. Uh, that's there's she's sort of on a ledge as you come into the stairs, with the stairs leading downwards either side of you, into a large, dimly lit room. In the middle, there's like you can see seats and little booths and that kind of thing spreading along the sides of the room, which lead all the way to a stage at the other end. Upon which there's like a sort of a seven-piece jazz outfit, and they're playing the music you can hear. There's booths in the sort of the shadowed corners all around the corners of the room, and then elevated above that on the right-hand side, there's a few more seats and a few doors, sort of service entrances and stuff like that. And on the left is a long mahogany bar. Uh, it's lots of brass, a very classy kind of place. And on either side of the stage, you can see two doors and then a fire escape uh, just past the end of the bar.
Hmm.
Sorry, you knew. I figured I'd give you the description of the place.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah. So Rose is entering the club area, looking around to see if she can spot Limey. She had ignored the door private because he might be there, but if he isn't, then she's intruding on his property and she wouldn't want that. So she's just searching through the club to see if she recognizes Limey. She doesn't know if there's anyone else around. She doesn't know
Okay,
that someone else is around, so
make me a quick perception roll.
will do. As soon as Dice Stream is opening up. I got 2 successes.
Great, 2 successes. As you scan the bar and the club from this raised stairwell, um, your eyes drift one way across the room and then the other, and then down in the shadowed seating area, right in front of the dance floor, right in front of the stage. There's you see sort of a shadowed figure, but it's the tall, lithe, trilby wearing Limey. Like you can recognise him. Even just from the way he's slouched in his seat, because you've known him for long enough. But he's not alone. Next to him, you recognise Frank Green, the resident sheriff. And they appear to be they're watching the stage, but every so often they'll lean to each other and sort of say a few words, and then drift back to watching the music.
And Rose will continue on her way deeper into the club until she arrives at your table. She's just not saying anything at that point. Just waiting until the two of you have some time to say something back to her.
Oh, so she's just walked up. Is she behind them? Is she visible to them?
She'll make sure that she's visible when she's approaching. And since she's quite tall, of course,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course, there's no way of mistaking her, is there? Okay. As you walk up behind Limey and Frank, you drift to the side of them, to the right hand side where Limey's sat. And as Limey sees you, he'll kind of look up from the stage and sort of take a double take when he sees you, and he's Rose, lovely to see you.
Mr. Limey, it's a pleasure.
Yeah. And, did you didn't get too much trouble getting in with the whole helmet thing on, did you?
Oh, no, not much. It's
Good.
understandable that they inquire after it.
Nah, Harlem, you can never be too sure who's behind the helmet, I guess. But, glad to see you made your way down here unimpeded.
Hmm.
No. Yeah,
Yes.
he'll sort of look at Frank and sort of say, Frank's here too. We're discussing a bit of business.
Frank hasn't really moved or done much from his particular spot, where he seems to just be laying back or at least lounging in his chair every so often. Limey will go ahead and whisper some words to him, and he'll go ahead and nod or say yeah or nah. But he's got his sunglasses on. So you can't really tell if he's actually paying attention to you or not.
Limey kind of nudges Frank with his elbow and says, Frank.
What? Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you. I mean, I know you're kind of in the zone. I can dig that. But, got company.
No, right. He looks up to the helmet wearing figure and says, "Good company or bad company?"
Oh yeah. No, good company. It's Rose.
Huh.
It's green. You don't even recognize your own helmet.
Oh, yeah. The moniker. Should have picked that up.
It's pretty dark in here, so look, and he kind of pries his eye. He kind of looks at the stage, kind of longingly, and he says, "Well, I suppose we can't have you out here dressed up like that. People will start to wonder. So, would you like to take this somewhere a little bit more private?"
That might be best. I do not mean to cause any alarm or panic.
Yeah, that's right. He kind of seen any messages. um, yeah, sorry, what was I? Kind of glances at Frank and he says, "Sorry, man. I know you're mellow, but it's, we've got to talk. So you're more than welcome to join us."
No, I don't want to be rude. I'll go ahead and join you.
Brilliant. Okay. And he sort of gets up and he's like, "Frank, you know the drill. Rose." Yeah. As he begins to walk, he walks to the door marked private to the left of the stage, and it's like sort of in front and across from the bar. Um, and he sort of pushes. It's quite a heavy looking door, quite a big, thick thing. And he kind of twists the handle and pushes it open and says, "Please, after you."
Rosa walks in. She's looking around for a place to either take a seat or at least put her helmet on.
Oh, right, yeah. As Rose walks into the room, she's met with a relatively dingy room. It's not the usual kind of back room that you find. It's a little bit nicer looking, but it's still the back room of a jazz club in Harlem. She looks around. There's a big sort of oak table in the center with a few chairs pulled around it. There's like a record set off to one side, and like a fridge. And then in a corner of the room, there's three sofas and then a couple of armchairs, sort of pressed up against the walls, with a coffee table in the centre. And there's Limey enters as Frank and Rose walk into the room. Limey walks across to one of the armchairs and kind of scooches down in it.
Frank goes ahead and resumes his particular position last time he left this room. On the sofa, with his legs on the table.
There's Rose, feel free to remove your helmet now. I can assure you there's no cameras back here.
Thank you very much. And Rose does so and places the helmet on the table. Well, you see, of course, what you always see with her: the white hair, the blue skin, black eyes, And she takes place on one of the armchairs.
So, Rose, what brings you here this evening? Business or pleasure?
Well, mainly pleasure, I think, but also we haven't talked to each other for quite a while, so it's good to catch up, I think.
No, it's been far too long. It's good to see you again,
It is.
Rose. He kind of slouches a little bit down in the chair and says, "So how have you been? I don't think I've seen you since you ran off into the wilderness."
Yeah, that was an interesting experience.
I bet it was.
I don't think I am made for the wilderness, but well, new experiences are precious, and I'm very glad that I got the opportunity.
Yeah, so I bet it was a experience. Was never into all that wilderness stuff myself, but you know,
Elena threw her off a cliff. Proud of that girl.
Elena threw you off a cliff.
We jumped,
Huh.
and we kind of had the sun in our backs, so there wasn't really much of an option there.
No, no, I bet. Proud of you, girl. Nicely done.
Well, I think it's the scariest I've ever been.
And what? Did you get a decent rush out of it?
Um, as I said, I do not think that I'm made for the wilderness. It gave me some time to think about stuff, and well, I've never been out of the city, so it was really overwhelming. Mm,
And did you have any those epiphanies while you were out there? Did you
I'm
find
afraid
yourself?
not.
No, nothing like that.
No,
There was.
no, I'm pretty sure that I cannot um, recognize an oak tree from a pine tree.
Well, at least it was a decent holiday. But we're glad to have you back.
It's good to be back, trust me. Uh,
Yeah,
I realize that I've missed my library a lot, and renovations I think should be done within a month, so
that's something.
that's definitely something.
Though, don't get too pleased to be back too soon. Uh, the city's been, well, how to say, a little difficult as of late.
Really? What way?
Frank,
Well, apparently we have a second body that we need to go ahead and investigate. Came in only a few hours ago via two different sources, that being of Limey over here and that being of Mr. Alex.
Hmm. Well, that is something. So, same details, I guess?
no, this one
It
was,
was presented a little bit differently, a little bit more gruesomely if you want to go into the details at all. Suffice it to say that it is definitely something that we need to look over. Information
um,
at the moment, scant. But
maybe,
we expect more information to come in as it does.
yeah, got some of my people working on it. I think Nosferatu does too. And,
Only a few
well,
hours ago, right? Do we have a location where it happened?
that's what we're trying to find out. My boy reckons he's got it.
Because people who have the special ability when it comes to sights will see more than just this, well, plane of existence, you might even say. They can get readings off from objects. I can do that too, but also I can get readings of sights.
Well, we are.
So if we manage to find the location quickly, I might be able to get some reading off of it.
Well, like I said, that information should be with me within the next 24 to 48 hours. So, well, it would be good to bring you along if we indeed do go and check the scene out.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, maybe you can make something from the photo that we couldn't. Green, are we showing her what our Nosferatu friend brought home?
Well, murders usually leave like very strong impressions on a place. So,
Huh. I bet you get a strong feeling from this city then. Are we showing her the photos, Green?
Graham just goes ahead, takes out a vanilla envelope, sets it on the table. He doesn't let go of it. He just puts two fingers on it, and he doesn't look to Rose. He just simply says to Rose, presumably, that if you want to spend the rest of your night fairly happy, I would suggest you look at this. There's nothing here that you might find. It's just all very gruesome.
I see.
Mm.
Well, I'm getting rather curious with this riddle. Would like to get it solved, but I cannot read off anything from pictures.
Yeah, but there's, shall we say, something very specific about the way the cadaver was displayed.
Hmm. With that, she places her hand on the envelope as well. If I may, Mr. Green?
Frank Green goes ahead, lifts his fingertips up.
Um, Rose, she grabs the envelope, opens it, and she gets grabs the pictures.
All right, looking at the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the pictures happen to be in black and white. They show a crime scene, but nothing that you've ever seen before. They show a woman's body flayed and splayed over a grate that just tops an alleyway. It's a bloody mess of skin. Skin with skin sacs that just sort of go ahead and hang low like garbage bags. From the limbs, from the arms, legs, and whatever else, you see bones dangling as well, and the whole thing seems to be attached with not wires. Oh, hell no. If it was only wires. But it seems attached by sinew, muscle, and nerves attached to the body mass up on top. What you're basically seeing is a human wind chime.
Hmm.
You might notice Liney shudder a little as he remembers the photo.
Rose is she's studying it. Her black eyes and narrowing. She actually holds the pictures very close to her face, twisting it, turning it. This is hmm. This is disturbing.
Hmm. It's not even half of it.
So, once again, a piece of art.
Funny sort of art.
Not saying it's my kind of art, but wonder what they are trying to send across. What message?
Well, Green seems to think that this sort of I don't know, crafting of flesh and bone is it might be a power of the blood.
Hmm. Right, I see where you're going. Well, it could. I would really. It's interesting though, because the first body that you found, she says that she's putting the pictures back into the envelope again. Besides from the fact that it was drained and it was tied up to a tree, there weren't exactly things missing, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Well, at least not for as far as the news reporter that Miss Sheridan talked to knew.
But there were still mysterious circumstances.
Hmm.
There was a bleach bottle found inside a corpse. There was I don't know, the body was completely shaven, and there was blood around its mouth. I mean, that sounds like some sort. We came to the conclusion that it looks like some sort of rushed embrace, but we're not sure.
I know. Hmm.
Maybe we can get our friends from there to analyse the blood if we can get a sample. Just a thought.
If you would manage to get a hold of that.
Protean.
Well,
I'm looking at this. The first body. And the second one. What if they're essentially the same? Just Protean. Metamorphosis. Changed. Maybe they're not too unrelated. You would think with looking at the second body that it is a completely different MO, but what if it's just the same? What if it's just a series of portraits that's going to go ahead and illuminate something? It's a type of evolution of the theme. You go ahead and start with a blank canvas, just that pure naked skin, completely hairless, and then you go ahead and you make this thing, sort of like a cocoon, metamorphosis.
heavy man, heavy.
hmm
Hmm.
Sometimes I have my moments.
It's an interesting theory.
That's a good theory, that.
Yeah. Problem is there are so many blanks. Any theory could be good at this point, but it's a way to look at things. But would it get us anywhere? Well, we
I'm
do
just talking on
know.
my ass here. I have no idea what you two are trying to do.
Hmm,
Hey, look, I'm just saying, like, you might be onto something. You might have nothing, but you could have it. You know, it's damn better than the ideas I've got, man.
Like I said, it's just protean. It's just change.
Totally.
Well, there's one thing that obviously connects these two.
What's that?
It cannot be done by a human.
I don't know. The first one. Well, apart from the people moving with a peculiar speed, but I mean, the murder, the first one, could have been carried out by anyone.
That's true, but with the speed involved, it's unlikely.
You're talking to an inherently unreliable witness at that moment when you're talking about the unnatural speed.
Who was the
Miss
witness?
Sheridan seemed to be pretty sure of it.
She was not the witness.
That's true.
Who was the witness?
A journalist who was there at the most opportune time to witness the events happening. He is the one that is describing it all as some sort of alien conspiracy, and seems to be rather paranoid with what goes bump in the night.
You fucking should be.
That probably means that I should look after my herd a little bit more.
I don't know. The herd I've got, I mean, there's always, and I hate to use the word, but fresh meat where that came from if one of them goes missing, so.
Well, if we have anything related to these two murders, I think I would, if I can have a look at it, if I can just hold it, that might work.
You still got that bottle we picked up, Frank?
Yep. Yes, I do.
Hmm.
Your library is going to be my next stop for the night, but if you're available right now.
Well, I'm here, and you probably wouldn't have found me in my library, since I cannot live there at this point.
Elena visited you, right?
Yes.
Okay, I would have gotten the information from her then. In any case, he just goes ahead and he sits himself up from where he's sitting, goes ahead and walks to the door. Goes ahead and actually has to unbolt the several locks that are currently holding this door in place, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, lots
With
of locks.
almost Herculean strength, he has to twist that latch so it finally opens.
Yeah. Okay, I assume you're going to your car.
Yep.
Cool.
Frank Green is just heading to his car. He doesn't care if anybody's following him. He would like people to follow him.
Oh, right, I thought you were, okay, yeah, we'll go to the car then. Limey kind of, watches Frank leave and unbolt the door. Then he looks at Rose and he's like, I don't think he's coming back, so, you might want to go ahead and put that helmet back on.
Well, if we have to follow him, then I guess I will. And she walks over towards the helmet, and as she grabs it, she suddenly just freezes in place. She's just staring at the helmet, basically at her own reflection, of what seemed that way.
Limey kind of glances at her from the chair and just sits there prone like, what's going on? Rose? Limey kind of sort of slouches out of the chair and gets up and sort of walks over to Rose. And he sort of scooches round to sort of look at her face. Would you like me to roll anything, or?
Nah. Basically, I think what you see is that her eyes are just turned wide open in her face. There is, other than that, there's just no expression. But you can see that she's actually like shaking. Weird enough.
Limey kind of runs over to the door which Frank has left open, and he glances to see if Frank's still there. Or
Frank has taken a few steps, but if you really want to catch him.
I just don't know if like he's kind of a little bit like, something's happening, sheriff's here, like could never hurt. He kind of sort of quickly, like very briskly, walks up behind Frank and kind of pats him on the shoulder. Frank,
What?
I know you're heading to your car. Something's going on with Rose.
Frank goes ahead and walks back.
Yeah. Limey kind of lets Frank walk in first, and then sort of bolts the door. And then he sort of quickly wanders up to Rose. He's like, she's just like, I don't know, man. She just started shaking, her eyes went white. It's trippy.
All right. Let me have some room with her, okay? He's sort of rolling up his sleeves for one moment. Goes ahead and will actually look into the dark black eyes of this particular kindred before him. Goes ahead and places his hands over her shoulders and just proceeds to stare. And he's bringing out his inner beast. Not in the way he usually does, not in the menacing manner, but the kind of beast that is controlling, domineering, but mostly calming, cowing effect. Just trying to get a more empathic connection with this particular creature before him. Just calming it down, telling it, hey, everything's fine. Everything's going to be all right now. You just need to go ahead and ride whatever type of feral impulse that you have at the moment. Just go ahead and breathe.
As you're trying to reach out to her, it's almost like her mind isn't there. There's just some black void there.
Hey, what's going on with her, man?
Her beast is very, very docile at the moment.
Right. Okay.
And I think with that, if I just read through this thing, I think this is about the time that she just returns and she blinks a few times and she actually gasps, which is rather weird because she doesn't have to breathe, but she's like,
Rose. Rose.
yeah,
What
I'm
was that?
sorry. I thought she just looks at Frank. I thought you just left.
Yeah, and then you started freaking out, and I had to come back here to calm your ass.
I'm I'm sorry. It's this hasn't happened in a long time.
Can somebody explain what's happening?
Apparently, she just had an episode. Don't worry about it. It'll all blow over. Now come with me. I got something to show you.
No, I'm not worried. What did you see something or what?
From time to time, I have these. It's not
Episodes.
necessarily blackouts. Yeah, I think you could call it that. In which it's like something's happening. I'm not always sure as to the meaning of it, and I just see these visions.
She loses consciousness. She really sees things. It usually blows away.
Well, what did you see?
It's kind of weird. Those things that mortals use to prepare food, kitchens.
Yeah, kitchen.
Ovens,
No,
pots,
just a
pans.
kitchen. I was I was in a kitchen and um there were eggs there. Just a carton of eggs, and for some reason I was gonna prepare the eggs, and as I was doing so, I had the silver bowl and the eggs, and it was like really weird because I knew that this is not something that I normally do. It's actually something I've never done before, at least not to my knowledge. But it just happens. I just moved and I got the egg out and I cracked it on the side of the bowl, and nothing came out. It was empty. And it happened again and again and again, and I I started to panic. I was scared as kept on happening until there were 3 eggs left. And I cracked one of them. And there was something in there. It was an eye.
What?
There was an eye in the egg. And as it was lying in the bowl, it just, it glowed red, and then it turned into ash.
I don't. That that doesn't make any sense.
These things never make any sense at first, but there's meaning to them.
Well, I mean, why's everything got to be so cryptic?
Yeah, it would be helpful if they came with subtitles, but I'm afraid you have to write them yourself.
Well, think on it. I mean, I've got no idea what it means, but just think on it.
Hmm.
Look, speaking of visions and stuff, we've got this thing we found that you might want to check out. Should we go, Frank? He looks a little bit perturbed. He doesn't really understand what's just happened.
Roll perception empathy.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Perception, empathy. Let's do this. Right. Sorry, dice stream's open. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3.
Yeah, it looked like Frank Green was going to make a joke about something. Then he shut up very, very quickly towards the end of that particular description.
Limey kind of says, come on, let's go."
Yeah, I got to show you the bottle, he says as he lets go of Rose, falls back, gets back up, goes to the door, proceeds to leave, this time hopefully escorting the other 2 kindred along.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rose picks up her helmet now and puts it on as she walks outside.
Just as she pauses to put her gear on, at the door, and as they walk out of the door, Limey will turn to Frank and will say, "What were you gonna say?"
I was gonna say, it's kind of late to be mourning the fact that you have no children. I will never have any. And then I just sort of shut up.
Huh. I think maybe, just maybe, that was quite a socially smart move.
Mm-hmm. In any case, Frank Green goes ahead and walks about the nearest closest parking garage next to the coal cellar and proceeds to make his way to a motorcycle, actually, with 2 side latchels. Goes ahead and starts to unbind one of them, and within it happens to be our garbage bag that seems to splash and slosh with a unknown liquid. If you could tell by the contours of how the bag is currently wrapping the object, this is a bottle with liquid in it. Goes ahead and looks to Rose and say, "Take this. Take it to some place that you can really concentrate. I mean, like, really, really concentrate on it. Tell me what it tells you. Don't do it now. Do it when you're back at home. Wherever you happen to be havening that night.
Very well. I'll I'll make sure to check it out, and I'll let you know tomorrow at latest. Depends on what I have to do when I return home. If there's still a lot of work there or not.
Sure. Seems as if the lightheartedness that Frank Green displayed earlier in the evening is completely shattered and gone.
Limey kind of his lip curls into a small pessimistic smile as he glances at Frank. He says, "Right, so the night draws quite late. Should we call it an evening?"
Yes, sure. Lemmy, I'll catch up with you later. And Rose, it was a pleasure to see you again. That's all he says. As he goes ahead and takes out the keys to the bike from his pocket, goes ahead and starts to rev the engine up, and then proceeds to sort of just stroll his way out of the parking lot and out into the rest of the night, still wearing his sunglasses like an asshole.
As Frank says, like, we'll catch up soon and stuff, Limey will turn to him and sort of say, yeah, Kushti. Alright, sweet, I'll let you know. And he turns to Rose. And in a rare moment of kind of empathy, he kind of looks at her and he says, you feeling alright?
A little off, I think. I'm sorry. Usually these things happen at home. I never had it well, not being around my books, you know.
Hey, don't sweat it. Yeah.
I'm sure I'll be fine. Don't worry about me.
Alright,
I
okay.
hope I didn't scare you.
Miss Rose. Yeah. It takes a little bit more than that to scare me. And he kind of gives you a cheeky grin. Says, it really has been a pleasure to see you again. You ever need me and you can't get hold of me on my phone, just walk in here and ask after me. They'll be able to point you in the right direction. And if they can't, then, well, call the sheriff because something's probably happened to me.
I think... I don't know. The sheriff seemed to be very busy lately. I wouldn't want to impose on him.
Sheriff, nah. I think Frank's just a little stressed. We all are. What with the Sabat bringing down our Gregory Pecks, and well, now these murders.
Speaking of that, sorry, just the word Brexit. Have you heard anything of Mr. Peck? Is there any news?
What? The Sabat?
No, Mr. Peck.
Oh, Mr. Peck. But you said the Sabat. No. Long story that. He's gone missing.
Yes.
Earlier on, Rose and Sheridan went over to his apartment. Sorry, to his restaurant. They had a look around the place to see what they could find. It was empty. But booby traps were mentioned, including a firebomb.
Ooh.
And whoever it was put accelerant on the floor.
Hmm.
The bomb was inside a fake coffin. Yeah, they were lucky to get out over their lives. That's Mr. Peck, and it's a sick joke. Frankly, I'm a little worried. It's not like Mr. Peck to just up and vanish. He's usually a little more, how to say, polite.
Yes, it's unlike him to just pack his bags and leave. Well, at least for as far as I know him.
He's a man of, how to say, he's a man of a certain level of etiquette. He believes in a proper way of doing things. And nobody seems to be listening to me, but Mr. Peck is not the kind of man who just leaves a city without so much as a goodbye. It's not his style.
Well,
There's too
I
much
I
respect.
don't I don't know. He's always been a bit. Well, it must be the Toreador in him. I've always found him a bit off, but not necessarily in a bad way. But I do agree with you on the fact that he has very high standards when it comes to the proper etiquette, and he might have left if he hadn't been the keeper. I do not believe he would have left without any kind of replacement or any kind of word.
Exactly. He's a man who believes his reputation is everything. Well, you know, abandoning your post without even declaring it to the prince, no, that certainly wouldn't do.
Exactly.
But as for saying there was something off about him, um, I quite agree. Mr. Peck couldn't lay in bed straight, as dodgy as they come.
Hmm. Oh, by the way, I have something else that might be interesting. Maybe you would like it. Apparently, I met with a person who claims to live in Central Park.
Vagrant?
No, he had very interesting energies hanging around him, and he was. I don't know what he called himself. I don't know what they call themselves, but one of the special people from Central Park. The reason why we don't go there.
The werewolf?
Yes,
You met a werewolf?
yes.
He kind of like checks to make sure nobody heard his outburst, and he's like, "The fuck are you doing going into Central Park, Rose?
I
What?
was not in Central Park, Limey.
Where was he?
It was in my library. Apparently, it's a very popular place lately.
Why was there a werewolf in your library? Was there anything important there? Did he steal anything?
No, no, he couldn't have stolen anything because the place is empty. All the good books have moved to a safe location to keep them good, keep them safe, and it's being restored. Apparently he likes knowledge, and he wanted to know why a library was burned.
Well, if he's that offended by it, maybe you should point him in the direction of the Sabbat. Limey kind of chuckles belatedly. Can you make me a perception empathy?
Sure. Uh, let's see. Oh, wow. I'm actually not half bad with that. Unless I roll incredibly bad. I only have one success.
I'm sorry, I had to roll subterfuge against it. His belated laugh was merely his mind was on other things. It was totally not that he was only half joking. He like chuckles and he's like, "Yeah, look, Rose, it's getting pretty late.
Yes,
Maybe we should get to bed.
I still have a long walk ahead of me, and
You're walking around like this?
uh, I don't know how. I still don't know exactly how to handle the bike I have. So, but it's a nice way to get around the city without drawing too much attention. As the veil usually, I can wear the veil and I can walk around and take a cab, but it doesn't. It's still people look, and sometimes they try to pull it away. So with this, it's obvious. I'm a biker whose bike is out of gas or anything. No one asks questions.
Yeah. That's actually pretty good. Safe journey, alright? It's the streets are pretty dangerous around here. You sure you're gonna be okay?
Oh, I am pretty sure I will be okay. You should know that I am quite capable of defending myself should it be necessary.
Limey shudders as he remembers Rose using tentacles of darkness to throw people around the room, and he says, "Oh yeah, that's right. Well, look, I hope to see you again soon, Rose. Okay?"
I hope so too. And Rose will walk over to her bike and starts walking.
Limey kind of looks after her like crazy, crazy woman. Before he kind of uh, he looks up into sort of like the light polluted sky with all of its smoke and all of its neon. Lights a cigarette and sort of smiles to himself and then walks back inside. Walks back inside the coal cellar. And thank you for watching, people.
Can we just one more moment? Can I record the roll that I'm gonna make for on the bleach can?
Yeah, sure.
Ooh. 3 successes.
Brilliant.
Very well.
Okay. That everything?
That everything.
Thank you. Right. Cheers for watching, people. Good morning, good evening, good night. Hope to see you again soon.